have China mail, but it's storage. Diamond piercings. Then I do this. 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 Bye.
She has to get into it somehow. I mean, what can I do? Can't. Anyway, so I had started this a little while ago, and I realized that there were a lot of colors that I don't have yet. So I had to go get a couple more boxes because I didn't have any empty boxes to put these in for the colors that I don't have. So there's a couple that I had in the bags already because I had moved to make more room, but there's too many of these. I should have just put them in bags, but I didn't. So I ran out and I got 2 more boxes, and I figure we'll get started now. So I will move the camera down. Again, this is going to be the setup. I'm going to get ready to start doing this painting. So I'm going to show you my process of how I get ready to get started. So I'm going to move the camera so you can see this is what I do. I lay out the packs like this with a row in between. That's where I put my containers. So you can see here I have this color already, this color already, this color already. I had 1 empty box, so I went ahead and put the color on there, and this color already. And that's when I realized that there were a lot of others that I need to get. So what I do, and I have to be careful because I have my numbers that I peel off the 1 through whatever that the canvas is that I've written. I peel them off the boxes and put them on here. So these will go back on here, which will be 1 through 20 for this painting. So they don't stick very well the next time, so I have to be gentle. So the next number I'm looking for is 336. So I go through my list, and if 336 is still on here, which it is, then I know I don't have this color yet. So what I do is I take the little sticker off, and I will get an empty box, and I put it on the right-hand side, and then that goes there. So moving on, I'll do this quickly. I won't talk a whole lot through this because I don't want you all to be like, snooze city. So here's the next one. 934 is still on my sheet, so I need an empty box for that. 734 is another one that I need an empty box for. And then moving down to the next row is 371. And again, like I said, a lot of these I do not have yet, so they don't have containers. 613, which is over here still, like that, and 611. I really like these colors. They're kind of like fall colors, kind of muted and really neat looking. Which, if you look at the picture of this owl, he doesn't look like he has a whole lot of color. But there are 20 different colors on this little tiny guy. Or gal. It doesn't really matter. Still cute, whichever. 3046 is the next one. And again, I need a new container. And then we have 677. And again, I'm going to be really sad if Harbor Freight quits carrying these boxes. I don't know what I'll do. 3371. I do have a set of those Tic Tac containers. I'm just not a huge fan of them. They're a little bit trickier for me, and I've spilled them more when I use those than when I use these kind of boxes. There's something on this one. It must be in the plastic because it's not coming off. 3862 is the next one. And ta-da! It is missing off my sticker sheet, so that means it's in one of my containers. So I have these numerically. And so all I have to do is find the box that has the highest numbers. 3862 is right there. 3021 is the next one, which the sticker is here. So I'll get a new container for that. And then I have 762, which I'm pretty sure I do have. Yes, that's a familiar color. 700s are in this one. And 62 is right here. 318, I think, is another one that I have. Yes, 318 is here. 414 should be in here as well. 414. And then we have 413, which is in my hand. So there we have it. So now I have containers for everything. And now what whoops, take that back. I'm going to move these out of the bag into the container for the purpose of the paintings. It's easier for me to work out of the containers than the bags. The rhinestone peacocks, I worked directly out of the bags because I knew I wasn't going to be saving, I didn't need to save them in containers. So I worked directly from the bags with those, and it's really tricky pouring them in and out of these bags. So I'm a little picky when it comes to that. So what I'm going to do now, let me put these stickers, and I do like these stickers because they are removable. They just don't re-stick as well the third or fourth time, which these have been used quite a few times. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll go in order and I'll put my little numbers on the left side. So this is the number for the canvas, and this is my DMC number. Okay? And I do this first because I did make a mistake where I started cutting open the bags and throwing them away and forgot that I hadn't labeled my containers yet. That was a little tricky. Luckily, I'd only done like 3 or 4, so it wasn't too hard. But the number for the canvas is right here on the bag, just like always. And I'm just adding my numbers. Oops. Like so. So none of you have asked me any questions. Does anyone have anything that they're curious about me? I had said earlier, or not earlier, in a previous video that I grew up in Kentucky. I was born there and lived there for the first 11 years of my life. And then we came to Florida and left everybody in Kentucky and Ohio, which was really hard. Coming here, and my grandparents, my mom's parents, were here, but they spent a lot of time back home, so we didn't have them as often as we needed them, or could have had helped with the transition and that kind of thing. Okay, so the numbers that I have here only go up to 19 or 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 1 in front of my 9 to turn that into 19. And I'm going to put a 0 behind this 2 to turn it into 20. And like I had shown before, I had bought the white circles. They don't show up on camera, so I'm not even going to bother getting those out. These are just way too big. They will not work on these containers. I could put them on the bottom, which push comes to shove, I may have to do that. I've also seen people where they just cut little pieces of paper and put them inside the container, which is another option, which I may end up having to do because I've used up all of my blank stickers on my DMC labels. And if you haven't seen before, I've mentioned this more than once. These are all of the DMC numbers for the floss for cross stitching. And I got these in the cross stitch section. at Joann's. They were $2.49, and I did use a coupon on them, so they were practically next to nothing. And I guess for that price, I could go get another set just for the blank labels, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So now, moving on, my next step is I will empty the bags into each container, and since I already had these, I'm just going to mix these together. And I have found that sometimes the color will be just a tad bit off, and there's like major static in this bag. But when I was doing the Dumbo the other night, I noticed that the colors I had mixed together were just tiny, tiny, minute shades different. But it really didn't matter because it kind of adds to the shading effect of the painting. Okay, I'm not going to torture you all with that. So I will, the way I do the strips like this, I cut the one end and I empty it. Like so. And of course there's got to be some that stick behind. And I got to spill some. And there are really a lot in these bags that don't belong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of my trays and a pen. And I'm going to go ahead and pick out these rogue colors so they don't bug me later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm not going to make you all sit and watch me do all 20 colors because it's quite repetitive. And I think y'all can figure out how to empty a bag into a container. But instead of cutting them all apart at once, I just cut the end off as I need it. Plus, I also double check the numbers as I go, and it keeps me from getting confused as to where I am and what color I'm on. The ones that come, I had mentioned in other videos that I didn't like the packages that come already separated because I tend to lose my place with those and I forget where I am. And I'm afraid I'm going to get mixed up. So I'm going to go ahead and pause, and I'm going to continue emptying the bags into the containers, and I'll be back in a flash. Alright, so I've just got 2 more to do here. Just thought I'd go ahead and come back in and, oops. There weren't as many rogue drills as I thought, but there was actually a square drill. It's not the first time that's happened. I had that in another painting that I did. It's like, how do I kind of understand the colors, because I'm sure there's like some kind of machine where they, open the bag and it drops the right color in and they seal it and they go to the next color and drop it in. So I can kind of see how that would happen. I would maybe get stuck, but a square drill in with the colors. It's really odd. Can you see that? Little red drill. And I haven't gotten any square paintings yet. I have a custom that my mom ordered for me for my birthday, which I am super psyched about. See that square drill all by itself. So those are the rogue drills that were in these containers. And they're very staticky, which is really annoying. Okay, so move this aside. Move that aside. So now the next step is to just start pasting. You all know how to do that, right? And I always look at the canvas before I decide how I'm going to start. Sometimes I always start up here in the top left and I'll work way across, or I'll go down a section. Sometimes I start down here. It kind of just depends on the way the painting looks. But I think in this case, I'm going to do all of one color, because like number 2, which is this really beautiful grape color, there aren't a lot of them. And I know you're not supposed to remove the whole sheet, but I am in this case because I'm just going to sit here for a little while. And I know I'm not going to be getting up and leaving. So I'll get out my little tray, pour some in. And can you see? Do I need to move this a little bit? I think you can see all right. My hand might get in the way though. That's the only problem with my setup. Since I'm right-handed, my hand's going to be blocking the canvas. So I'm going to have to figure out something else. If I do the drill with me video like you all have been asking for, I'll have to figure out something else. I think I might have to move my cutting machine and put the camera on this side so you all aren't just staring at my hand the whole time. But yeah, so anyway, I have been tagged. I have my list of questions. Miss Lorma sent me a tag, so I will be working on that and in an upcoming video. But I think for today, I think we're done. Do you think we're done? So anyway, that's my process. I'd love to hear the different ways you all organize, the different ways you get prepped to do a video. Do you do something similar? Do you have a much different process? I know a lot of people have those big cases. Is it from Doris? They might not be Doris. I don't know. But they're like a bigger container and they have the different size things in them, which hold a lot more. I don't know. Oh, see, I need to go take it out. Anyway, I will let you all go. Thanks again for watching. And I'd love your feedback. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Any questions you have for me, anything you want me to do differently, any of that stuff. I'm open for suggestions. So have fun. See you soon.